I think Professor Wole Soyinka has almost historically opinionated as he may appear, got it right this time when he said he would rather not lose his sanity by worrying about the Buhari presidency. And truly, that may be the right place to situate it. The Buhari presidency, to some extent, you can say one can appreciate their struggles and the direction and the intentions. But the challenge is that you must lead a nation like Nigeria in a manner where all of Nigeria, or as many of the constituent parts, will feel at ease. The challenge that presidency has is that ab initio, they didn't create an environment that suggested that they wanted to represent everybody. It appeared as if they were going to lean too much towards either the friends, the relative, the people of his tribe, or some other consideration other than equity, justice, and fairness, or an all inclusion. So that was a major challenge. And as people began to complain, some minimal, adjustments were made to things that tried to appear to be balanced. But unfortunately, once the perception has hit the street and everybody has accepted it, it becomes difficult for you to change. There's also the issue that they don't like communicating their opinions and their programs as well as they could, and their opportunity to respond is always seen as an opportunity to insult people and their sensibilities by thinking that they speak at the people instead of speaking to the people or explaining the concepts that they are running and the whole of their directive principle. And when you look at the economy, where they have, it's called the least mark, they have not been lucky. Some part of it has to do with the fact that some circumstances were beyond their control, like the price of hydrocarbon, which is oil and all that. But even at that, we have seen the Nigerian economy better managed, more creatively managed. And we have seen the Nigerian economy, in spite of global economic downturn in the housing market and all of that, the Nigerian economy had seemed to be a bit more better managed, and so it appeared to be more resilient. But under the Buhari presidency, every little shock has impacted it negatively because they have left the economy on the free to fall, and basically they have, in my opinion, very little knowledge on what to do. Also, if you look at their approach to revenue generation for project, they have been more interested in piling up debt. Only God knows what the figures are now, but the last time I checked, we are owing more than we've ever owed in the history of our country, and we have borrowed more than we've ever borrowed. We've borrowed so much, we've even borrowed the future pensions of people. Now we are trying to borrow their what's the word now? Their dormant accounts, the monies that people have left in their account that they've not touched for 6 years. We are going about even trying to borrow that. We're borrowing, we want to take the unclaimed dividends of people. Probably people think that they are living for the inheritance of their children. We are trying to borrow that. So you kind of like get the impression that this government, in spite of its inability to manage the economy, also has a heavy appetite for creating debt. And when you look at the infrastructural development they say they are doing, you begin to wonder what exactly is their model for. If you are going to borrow money for infrastructure, you must be sure that that infrastructure can pay for the loans, and therefore it can draw down its own debt. But the way we see it, they seem to be chasing after glory of, oh, we're the one that did this, or perhaps we're the one that started this, at the expense of very huge debt, which could then become a major problem for future generations. On the security aspect as well, they have not really understood that policing and military and soldiering are two different approaches into security, and that you cannot really police a big environment like ours by insisting that the only way you're going to be showing that you are providing security is by sending soldiers to go and probably pursue and eliminate or rescue and rehabilitate whatever it is that they are doing. So I think that from a security philosophy point of view, they are not bold enough to do what is right for now. In our opinion, what would be right for now would be for us to simply accept that the policing structure we're using in the country is not working, and it would be a good time now for us to look at the possibility of state policing, community policing, and so many other layers, so that we can at least be sure that we can have enough manpower to cover all of the landmass that we have, especially our very, very long borders. And then again, when you look at their rehabilitation philosophy is quite faulty. If a government makes it a habit that they're going to be eager to pay ransom and to rehabilitate offenders of terrorism, they will inadvertently make terrorism become a trade, where people will now use kidnapping as the instrument by which they make money and get money from government. And there's no way any government can ever be able to fully protect itself from such, because you really never know when the next crisis or the next attack or the next kidnapping is going to take place. And again, they have themselves completely to blame. Their attitude towards their inability to call Boko Haram what it is, their reluctance to call Fulani headsmen issues what it is, the desire to treat everything with a kid's glove made it a little bit worse. And again, people have complained in the country, and I have also lent my voice to it. They seem to not understand that you cannot have an armed forces structure that does not respect its own rules, which means that if you are supposed to live at a particular number of years, you should live, so that fresh, young, and other people who are waiting down the line can take control of the core and then probably inspire the system to even do better. But the way it is now, they've had a desire to retain the service chief in spite of all of the complaints and quarrels. And so everywhere you turn, you see that they don't get it. And the big thing is that in spite of they are saying they would do restructuring as a major agenda when they were coming in 2015, they seem to get into the office and pretend as if they don't even understand the meaning of what they themselves signed off to. So well, you find that there's a bit of lack of honesty in their approach, and so be it. So I think Nigerians are tired. Everybody's just waiting for 2023 to just come and get us out of this very difficult situation that we have found ourselves. If you are one of those who have created an enabling environment for insurgents and people who are probably criminal elements in the country to have a black channel by which they can trade and you give them money and they release the boys, you will likely find out that will give you, for their own benefits, they will quickly reach the table. Whereas in the Jonathan administration, there was a zero tolerance to pampering or engaging and even funding terrorism. It seems to be that the Vice Presidency is more eager to just pay what you can call a finder's fee for the boys. And if money is to be made, then insurgency or no insurgency, there's always a motivation for them to get onto the business side of it. So if that's what you are considering to be successful, I'll tell you that's not successful. No nation should allow its security philosophy to include negotiating paying of ransom as a policy. That can't be the policy. I've looked all over the world. I've not found any government that has ever had to deal with insurgents. The government can say whatever they want to say. They can tell us every cock and bull story that can come out from the mouth of their spin doctors. The question will be, how were the boys released? The question will be, what was the basis of the exchange? The question will be, who did the negotiation? The question will be, what did the other side get to release the boy? The question will be, why are we not having an investigation? The question will be, why was there a struggle or to liberate them? These are issues. So when you start to see something that looks like a Hollywood movie, if they say it has a happy ending, you just say, okay, thank goodness God, it has a happy ending. But that does not mean you're not going to go back to look at the script, and you're not going to go back to query with some of the action and the plot that took place there. Because we've been at this for some time. We're supposed to be garnering enough experience, not playing to the gallery and making a fool of ourselves in front of the Committee of Nations. Don't forget, during the EndSARS riot, after the whole of the issues, you saw a lot of satellite imagery from CNN, from BBC, from all over. So how come they've not gone to those people to look for satellite imagery of how 400 boys were being moved without anybody having any eye in the sky? So there are too many questions. Some of them are, of course, classified and security questions, but if it doesn't taste right, it probably is not right. So when they say they are managing security, as far as I'm concerned, they are enabling new ones, because now people are kidnapping on a daily basis. And they are paying, and they can say whatever they want, but we believe they are paying. I'm sure in the fullness of time, when government changes, and we'll be able to look at the record and see whether we can declassify some information that will let us know clearly what happened, when, and how, and why, and who's responsible. With the contest issues are personal issues that has to be determined by an individual. Many things goes into determining whether anybody wants to throw their hat into the ring. And I believe that that consideration will be ongoing in his mind relative to his ever readiness to serve this country. The other thing I want to say is that the issues that Atiku hold very vital and very dear to his heart, are they not still germane issues? Unemployment, national unity, security, opening up of the economy. All of these issues are restructuring. All of these issues are still very important issues that has not been dealt with. And if the elephant in the room has not been dealt with, then perhaps we still need the big hunter to come and take out that elephant. In that regard, what would determine whether he's going to run or not is still in the future. In any case, the present administration has not even done 2 years. So it will be a bit premature to make a frontal declaration and start to make the whole country worry about 2023. We're not there. But surely Atiku Abubakar is a very deliberate and firm person. When he gets to that bridge, he will cross it. And I believe if he has the vitality and the energy and the appetite, I believe he should, with due respect, present himself one more time. Okay. So that at least it can be on record that he gave Nigeria every opportunity to serve. It's true. There are some zones in this country that have never produced the presidency or will feel entitled. And I think lumping Nigeria into two halves does not, show precisely what's going on in the country. You can't do that. If you are going to take the 6 zonal arrangement, then you have to look at it from a 6 zonal arrangement. For instance, when was the last time anybody from the Northeast was ever president in Nigeria? Should the people of the Northeast not feel a desire to feel included in Nigeria? You may also go back and ask that, when was the last time the people of the North Central have been given the responsibility in a democracy to lead Nigeria? Should the people of the North Central not feel that it can be allowed to do? When was the last time the people of the Southeast have been given an opportunity to rule Nigeria? Should the people of the Southeast not be allowed? So therefore, I'm saying that if you say that, oh, you are dividing into a North-South dichotomy, you are going to keep saying that if the North Central or the Northwest, if the Northwest has been producing the president, then that means the whole of the North should be satisfied. And then in that form, it will then follow that if the Southwest is producing the president, the whole of the South should be satisfied. But that's not the truth. And I also believe that there comes a time in the history of a nation where you just say enough. And you say enough at a time when you see that you are not making as much progress in your country because you are not using the right metrics to find who can lead. And who can lead should not be really reduced to where he comes from, how tall is he, how short is he. It must be about the idea. And when the parties do their zoning, we'll look at it, and I'm sure everybody will pick their compass from the zoning. But let me sound a note that the People's Democratic Party of Nigeria is not under obligation to follow the zoning arrangement of the alternative party, which is the APC. APC has a responsibility to do their zoning according to their own rules, and PDP has a right to do his own zoning according to his own tradition. Therefore, I will say, when we get to that bridge, we will cross it. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I hate to, speculate on people's intentions. I believe that the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a damn serious job, and nobody should be harassed into trying to be president. Anybody who feels is constitutionally entitled to be president must determine first that he can do the job and must announce to us that he's considering doing the job. And then when he has announced that he's considering doing the job, we can then take him on the issues around the job, whether we think he is materially qualified or not. But to say they're pulling him, they are dragging him, where do you think we are? We're not in the former era where all political parties in the country will say that only one man can be president. No. As far as I'm concerned, the Bola Tinubu presidential idea is a non-issue, because I have not heard it from the mouth of any credible person around his camp or even from him to indicate that truly he has made up his mind. But if he makes up his mind, the more the merrier. For me, leadership, the governorship and the presidential conversation in this country around leadership has dropped. They're not discussing the issues anymore. They're not discussing new ways of doing things. I'm not impressed. And therefore, I have started to consider it very seriously. And there's a very likelihood that when all the consultation is done, I may certainly run for the office of the governor of Ogun State. But I'm still very much in the process of consultation. Consultation in the sense that checking out what the mood of the society is, checking out what's out there, checking out what exactly is the thing that I think needs to change dramatically, and asking myself whether, all things considered, there is something to be gained by the society by my contest. And I'm beginning to get persuaded that there is so much to be gained from the society by my contest, and the likelihood that I will contest that office is very high. No, I think that Bola Tinubu is acting like a coward. I don't believe that Bola Tinubu, with due respect to everybody who has a lot of opinion about his personality, I don't believe that he has to be cringing and to say he wants to be president. He can tell us that, look, gentlemen, all things considered, I'm contemplating running for office of president. You've just asked me whether I want to contest for governor. I've told you clearly that I've started consultation towards that issue, because I don't see any reason why I must cringe about it. Therefore, I expect that Bola Tinubu should call a meeting of the stakeholders of the Southwest, the people of the Yoruba extraction, where he comes from. And he should tell us in very clear language that, gentlemen, all things considered, I've looked at it, I'm convinced that there's something I want to add, so help me God, I'm contemplating being president. The fact that you want to be president, you can't want to be a president of Nigeria by scheming. You have to want to be a president of Nigeria by telling us precisely why you think you're going to make a good president. So as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing but cowardice there. And at the rate Atiku Bola is going, he may never even be able to ever fly his ambition, because there will always be 1 million reasons for him to be afraid. Well, I think that Bola has allowed himself to be castrated by a ridiculous fear of his party men, probably even the fear of the president. The president of any country can never be the automatic owner of a political party. A political party must be created in such a way that high network members of that party can aspire for office. And if anybody thinks that Bola is not high network enough in APC, then there's a problem in that party. For we know that most of the other partners have left, and Bola is still standing there. And if what will be left of APC will now be the caricature of the former CPC element masquerading as the totality of the party, then let's see how far they can go. Are you going to compare a man that has contested for the presidency of Nigeria 6 times with one that cannot even make up his mind whether he wants to contest? We know that with Atiku, he will tell you, I'm contesting. He will have the courage or conviction to speak to his ambition. He's not going to sit down in one place and be pretending that he wants to contest, doesn't want to contest, and people will be running up and down the street just overheating the polity, pretending as if they are creating structures for somebody who has not even declared an ambition. You cannot compare the living and the dead. Bola is too much of a coward for his own good.